It looks like DeShaun Watson a little bit banged up, and his health is in question for this week's game against the Baltimore Ravens. From a Ravens fan, let's talk about how this impacts it all. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing Ravens content every single day. If you want to see that daily Ravens content, make sure to subscribe button down below. Hit the notification bell as well if you want to get notified every single time I upload a brand new video. And in this video today, I'm talking about the preview of the Cleveland Browns Baltimore Ravens football game. Yesterday, I talked about how the Ravens are getting healthier and guys were returning to practice. But unfortunately, a lot of guys aren't playing. So I'm going to be talking about that. But first, I want to bring up DeShaun Watson because DeShaun Watson currently is injured and he missed some part of practice, and his game health is in question as to whether or not he'll be able to play against the Ravens. And that's big. And in no way is that saying that I'm excited about that. That is a big loss for the Cleveland Browns. Okay, that is an impactful thing to have happen. I don't wish injuries upon any player. I want every player to play every game for every team at full strength. But for the Cleveland Browns, their quarterback going down with an injury, and he played the game last week, but it looked like the hit that he took on a quarterback run up the middle. He kind of took it in the left shoulder. It didn't look like a crazy big hit. It kind of looked like just a massive collision. Both guys ended up falling over. It wasn't like he got laid out, but that shoulder looks like it's definitely a little bit banged up. It's a little bit sore. So, whether or not he's going to play. I mean, shoulder injuries are tough for quarterbacks, right? Sometimes DeShaun Watson already, DeShaun Watson is a weak arm. That is not what he is known for. He's known for accuracy and being very clutch. Like, that's what, makes DeShaun Watson who he is. But, shoulder injuries can drastically affect, throwing motion and torque and velocity and how far you're going to be able to throw the ball, how quickly you can get it in there. Maybe your throw motion is a little bit messed up. Everything that happens with the shoulder is integral to what you're doing, when you're throwing the football. So, if he's not at 100%, I don't know if there's a reason to play him, which would mean the Cleveland Browns would have to go to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Many would say is the best player from the preseason. I would probably say that too. He absolutely balled out this preseason. He's a rookie quarterback out of UCLA. If you haven't watched him before, he's always been really good. When he was in college, he was coached by Chip Kelly recently, and the UCLA Bruins, they were never out of a game because Dorian Thompson-Robinson was one of those guys where it was just like, he was always making plays. He can run, he can throw, he can beat you deep, he can beat you intermediate, he can beat you with his arms, he can beat you with his legs. He's a very difficult player to game plan and go up against. So don't, if you're a Ravens fan and you're like, oh man, no DeShaun Watson, this is an easy win. That's not the case at all. Dorian Thompson-Robinson has something to prove, and he's, shown at the NFL level in preseason, but he's shown that he can play. He didn't look out of sorts whatsoever in the preseason. It looked like, okay, this guy's a legitimate, if not backup quarterback, this guy could be a starter for a couple of teams. So again, on that side, hopefully DeShaun Watson's able to play. But if he does miss, the Browns offense is going to be a little bit different because they're going to have a more mobile quarterback. They may simplify the offense a little bit to, allocate for a rookie. But that's one of the biggest things right there. Where it's like, okay, how do the Ravens game plan for that? Now you got a game plan for two quarterbacks. DeShaun Watson, more of a pocket passer. He's a little bit mobile, but he's, nothing to be feared of. Yes, he's had a couple of big runs in his career, most notoriously on Thursday Night Football against the Cincinnati Bengals. Loved that run back when he was on the Texans. But since he's come over to Cleveland, he hasn't been a huge runner, or at least a wildly effective runner. Yes, he's run for first downs, but he's not running for 30, 40-yard gains or anything like that. DTR can do that. DTR is an explosive player, so you got to, okay. I feel like it's very similar to the Colts when we were preparing for the Colts. Are we getting Richardson or are we getting Minshew? We got Minshew against the Colts, and we'll see who we end up facing, against the Cleveland Browns. But, with the Ravens players, and now I'll talk about this, the players that are out, I mean, we're missing Odell, Bateman, Marlon, David Ojabo, and Odafe Away. Ronnie Stanley is doubtful for the game. Hamilton, Linderbaum, Marcus Williams, and Justice Hill are all questionable. Good news is, no Gus Edwards on that chart. So, We have a running back. We at least have one starting running back. I would love for Justice Hill to play as well. I think that would be a crucial thing to have happen. But it looks like this game against the Browns is going to be a classic AFC North battle. Limited offense, very, very physical defense. The Browns have had the statistically best defense in the NFL this season. The Ravens have been a top 10 defense statistically in the NFL this season, even though they're missing pieces. They've been able to get after the passer. The linebacker room has been very, very good outside of one touchdown pass to a certain running back on the Indianapolis Colts. Linebacker rooms, I mean, I haven't seen anything that I've complained about other than one play. But you know what? Every player gives up plays. So I'm not holding it against him whatsoever. Roquan's been unbelievable. Patrick Queen's he's looked pretty good this year. Jadeveon Clowney's looked really solid. He's been able to get pressure. One of the biggest names that we've seen is Brandon Stevens. He's really playing like that guy that we drafted. A lot of people thought he was being overdrafted when the Ravens took him, round 3. I can't remember if it was round 3 or 4, but I think it was round 3 when he was projected maybe a 5th-round pick. So Brandon Stevens is looking really good. He's probably going to be going up against Amari Cooper, one of the best wide receivers, one of the most difficult wide receivers to guard in the NFL. Is he top 10 now? Probably not anymore, but he's still a very good player. He's definitely an above-average wide receiver one that's known for his route running. And Brandon Stevens, the benefit is that's what he's known for, is he's been able to stick to receivers. It's the ball skills that he's lacked throughout his career so far, but he's making more and more plays each and every week so far this year. So, yes, it's a difficult matchup, but I'm not stressing overly about it. I should say I'll knock on wood because now Amari's going to go off. But Kyle Hamilton, again, that's a player that, I would love to have out there. He's probably the most... him and Marcus Williams are probably the biggest ones where it's like, dude, if we had those guys, I'd be very confident in our defense. If we have neither of them, I'm going to be a little bit weary. Hopefully we get at least one. It doesn't matter which. They're both great at what they do. But, overall, I think this is going to come down to the defense and how they're able to play against the opposing teams. Offenses with the Ravens missing, most likely at least one offensive lineman. And then 2 of their starting wide receivers. And then the Browns potentially missing their quarterback. And obviously they no longer have Nick Chubb. It's going to be Jerome Ford and a little bit of Kareem Hunt. How do you match up against that? And so if we're going up against the rookie quarterback, having a Marcus Williams, a ball hawk, would be very valuable. Because he's a veteran in the NFL. Maybe he can trick him into a couple of plays. We obviously signed Kyle Van Noy. Maybe he gets out there on the field. Maybe he's able to get some sacks, get some pressures. Because Cleveland has been in dogfights this year. Dogfight against, the Titans. Even though they were able to handily win it, it's like a brutal game to watch. It's like, man, the offense is just not there, but their defense is just so dominant with Myles Garrett and great cornerbacks. That's like, dude, you can't move the ball on them. Ravens got to show, hey, Todd Monken is here. He's no longer in Cleveland. He knows how to beat you guys. I think it's going to be a really big game. I'm really excited to see what happens. Let me know in the comment section down below your guys' thoughts and opinions. How do the Ravens make up for these losses? How do the Browns make up for potentially the loss of DeShaun Watson? But thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe for more content. I'll see all of you again tomorrow.